Ko nuk karaka.
Kia ora, e te kaiwhakahaere. What I'd like to do on this call, sir, is just to clarify a couple of points that have been made, particularly by Reno Te Rakatani, first of all, e whanauka, and around the interpretation of tangata whenua. Because so when we actually looked at this, the response, and I'm actually looking at the submission from the Papawai Kaikokirikiri Trust, and a number of points that have been brought up here have, this is actually, within the bill itself, this is what the Kaikokirikiri Trust, this is what they had, this was their aspirations. This is what they wanted. So when we look at the interpretation around tangata whenua of Wairapa, and so looking at the original sort of part of this, and there was also a comment by Pene Henare, particularly around that relationship and how actually was it implemented, and how did they see it actually happening within this bill? Well, the first thing was that they did actually, they wanted to have more of a sort of a robust kind of process where they could actually determine themselves about the makeup of what the board was going to be. And then also, within that makeup of the board, it was going to be more collaborative, particularly around those that actually whakapapa to the Wairapa, and then also bringing in rangitane as well. The other part of it, though, is that it was around having a fairer distribution as well of the funds, because it was sort of quite wide. And there were a lot of people, they believed, that actually didn't understand actually the whole sort of structure of who the people were that actually qualified to be able to apply for those funds for scholarships. And so the other part that they had, sir, was actually facilitating the long-term development, particularly around their lands. And so that was an important part as well. But I want to come back to the actual interpretation of tangata whenua. And actually just quoting from what the Papawai Kaikokirikiri Trust actually said in their submission. And basically they were quoting the Act of 1943, 12.4a refers to scholarship provision for children of British subjects, children of islands in the Pacific Ocean, but with preference to children of the Ngāti Kahungunu tribe, then other Māori or descendants of Māori from the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand, then Māori or descendants of Māori of any part of New Zealand. So you can see originally that was very, very wide. So one of the important sort of parts of this bill that they actually did want to change was that the board believed that Māori who do not whakapapa to Wairapa should not gain any benefits from income derived from the Wairapa lands. So that was a really important part of distinguishing between the really wide scope that the original bill had, and pulling it back actually that they could identify, particularly around the Wairapa lands and the money that was coming from that, then they could identify those recipients of those scholarships that actually came from the Wairapa. The other part, in regards to Wairapa iwi, the Act 1943 refers to the preference...
I'm sorry to interrupt the member. It's tragic. However, the time has come for me to leave the chamber. The House will resume, committee will resume again at 7.